Blog Talk Radio.
Hi. I got to change that music. It just doesn't, I used to love it, but it doesn't do anything for me. It doesn't get me excited, okay? But anyway, it's Recruiting Animal here on February 12th, February 2020. Very quickly, I just thought of a new advertising strategy I want to tell you about. Last year, there was a big conflict on social media for a while when a European company posted an ad for an engineer with a tiny cartoon figure of a young man, a cool kind of hipster guy with a beard on it. Now, everybody complained that this was absolutely sexist, right? Well, today I saw an ad promoting advertising on LinkedIn that featured a very pretty young woman on it, okay? And it was actually posted on Facebook by someone who said he was sure that a lot of guys would click on an ad like that because of the girl, right? Well, look, if women want to see women in ads for engineers and men click on ads featuring pretty women, then if you're looking for engineers, the obvious solution is to feature ads with pretty women on them. It's sexist and non-sexist at the exact same time. What could be more perfect than that, right? No one's going to complain. Well, of course they're going to complain. But look, no one you know what? You're going to get complaints. The only way, well, no one ever complains that they don't see old people in job ads. Anyway, but if you put I'm getting too deep. You get my message. I gave you a perfect solution for every ad. Anyway, let's see what everyone else thinks about that. On Jerry, what shall I say?
The Recruiting Animal
Thank you, Jerry. And I want to thank my sponsors, PCRecruiter.net, the Swiss Army knife of recruiting software. That means it's very versatile, in case you don't know what Swiss Army knife means. HireTool, HireTual, the super-duper sourcing tool that everybody loves. And Honeit, Honeit, the online interview recording technology. I'll tell you a few more details about that very, very soon. We got a special guest today, I'd say, because he's on the show every week, but, he's commenting on what other people say. We don't necessarily get to dig into him because the focus is elsewhere. It's recruiteral.com, Alan Fluhrer, okay? His Twitter name is ALANFLUHRER. It's impossible. I used to call him mine Fluhrer, okay, but I think recruiteral.com is a little nicer. That'll take you directly to his LinkedIn profile. Welcome to the show, Recruiter
Thank you,
Al.
Well, it's been a while since I've been a guest. I'm scared to death.
Okay. Well, I'll give you the easy questions to start off with. Okay. What time did you go to bed?
11 o'clock.
Is that your standard?
Give or take, yes.
Okay. What time did you wake up?
6:30.
Okay. Do you think it's really important to get up before 7? I don't. What's your take on that?
I've always gotten up early. It goes back to when I used to have to battle my family for the first shower in the morning. So I used to get up at 5, shower, and so I've always gotten up early. 10 kids or something? Was there? I don't want to know about your family. No. It was just the hot water ran out fast.
Okay, yeah, a family of origin. He's from a poor family, everybody. Okay, and finally, what kind of coffee do you drink?
I drink anything that's free, and then my kids have gotten into really high-end snobby coffee that I'll do when they make it for me.
Okay, fine. You know what? I didn't ask you what you do, but sorry, and those questions weren't so good. But this is an important question. Are you wearing a mask to face-to-face interviews now because of the coronavirus?
No, it's no, I'm not.
Okay, so with what you're doing, you're recruiting for the construction industry right now. Am I right about that?
Currently, I'm the director of a commercial construction, director of recruiting, commercial construction firm. We build hotels, malls, universities, etc.
And what titles are you recruiting for?
Typical titles are going to be low to high will be project engineer and entry level out of college, up to senior project managers, project executives. The tough ones that I like to call the geeks of the industry are estimators, who I think most of them could get into software, and a variety of in between.
Okay, moving on. Like I stalled the show by asking you questions that weren't that really good to start off with. You posted on your Twitter that you were watching Dean DaCosta lay down some search techniques you should all know, okay? And you pride yourself, I think, on being a good sourcer. What are those search techniques that all recruiters should know?
I think if you were to go to Dean and just look at a couple of his videos or anybody's on any topic, Boolean, whatever, you can learn the technical stuff. The technical steps are easier to learn. What I've always said and what Dean says is the most important thing you can do is think and figure out how to connect the dots. And can I give you a quick example?
Please do. I don't know what you're talking about so far.
So let me give you an example in my industry. So I was searching and doing Boolean searches. I found an association of subcontractors. Would I hire anybody out of a subcontracting company? No. But who do these guys know? These guys know everybody that I want to hire. So I started doing searches and saving and getting to know them and going to.
What's a subcontractor company? I don't get it. What do you mean, like people doing renovations or something like that, like plumbers and tradespeople?
Yeah, trade people. So when we build a hotel, we subcontract out the concrete, the roofing, the electrical, the plumbing, the drywall, all of it to other companies.
Okay, so you found an association, a professional association of these people.
And then connecting the dots. Get off the internet. If it's a local organization, if it's local, go to it or go meet somebody there. Go have a cup of coffee. You would be shocked at how productive getting one-on-one with anybody, especially people that know the people you know.
Okay, somebody's making noise. Okay, like who? Like, give us an example. Did you call somebody up? Who do you call up in that association?
Okay, so Animal is the business development sales guy for a drywall company, and we have done work with his company before. And I'm looking for a senior project manager. Well, I can go find them on LinkedIn. I can do it in other ways. I can do Boolean. But if I meet Michael and we talk, I can do two things. One, I'm going to ask him what project managers he respects, not that I want to hire, that he respects, that I can keep networking with, because I know that if I ask him who to hire, he's going to forget a bunch of people. But if he
hold on a second. Wait a second. So I thought you were calling somebody in the association. You're not. You're calling somebody at the member companies. That's number one.
No, Michael
Am I right
is a
about
member
that?
Okay, that's two. I'm sorry. Two answers. One, I know the person that runs the association. I speak to her all the time. When I come across a candidate that I can't use, I forward it to her. And when I need to find when I'm searching for a position, I will call her and ask her who are the best people to talk to. And I always show up at the gatherings once a month, so she's familiar with me. Now, Michael is a member of the association. That's how I met him.
Okay, and so instead of directly recruiting someone out of his company, you call him and say, who do you like? And that means you can't recruit anybody out of his company anymore because you're his friend and he's doing you a favor, or at least you asked for a favor. Whether you actually get anything of value is a big question. Am I right about
actually,
that?
No, not really, because the people at at Animal's company aren't the people I want. They don't know enough. They know too little about what we do. We're size, scope, and scale. So Animal goes and talks to and does work for other general. Okay,
so what title is the guy at the? He's a VP or project man. What's his title? I forget.
Animal would be the business. Animal would be either the business development person for that drywall company, or he'd be a senior project manager at that drywall company, and both of those titles would know they would already also be working for other. They would be doing projects.
So when you phone him up and you don't know, do you know him already from going to the association meetings, or are you cold calling him?
I'll do both.
Okay, you're cold calling somebody you don't know and you want a referral. Come on, that's the point of all this. Tell us what you say to that person.
Animal, hi, this is Alan Fluhrer over at W.E. O'Neill, and you truthfully, Animal, I will usually have somebody will have mentioned Animal's name. I'll call him and say, hey, Greg told me to give you a call. Says a lot of respect.
Can you hold on a second? Can you hold on? Sorry. Kathy, your area code 619. I am going to put you on mute, but I'll open you up later, okay? Because I think the SEAL team is making noise on your line.
Sorry.
Okay. So
okay.
I'll be back. I'll be back. Okay, go ahead, Al. Start at the start.
Hey, everybody. Got a quick question for you. Is your job easy, stress-free, and full of rainbows and sunshine every single day? Yeah, I'd say that's a big fat no. Hi, I'm David Noe, host of Speakeasy HR, presented by Payroll Partners, and proud to be part of the Work-Defined community. Take a step down into my Speakeasy live on LinkedIn and YouTube, where we tackle HR and business challenges through raw, uncut, unfiltered conversations. This is HR like you've never heard it before. Bold, real, and full of practical takeaways. Real guests, bold insights, authentic conversations that drive change. Catch every episode on demand through your favorite podcast platform or all the content at speakeasyhr.com.
Okay, so a couple different ways to do this. I meet him at an association meeting when we're having a beer before the thing. We talk for 4 minutes. We exchange cards. I call the head of the association.
No, I want a cold call, not a warm call.
Oh, I'm sorry.
A cold call.
Sorry.
Look, there's people hanging up on me already.
Animal.
I can see them dropping like flies. Get to it, please.
Animal.
I accept my responsibility for screwing it up so far. Let's get this show on the road. You're cold calling this guy for a referral, someone you've never met before, okay? Out of the blue. What do you do?
All right. Animal, I saw your company sign on that casino project, and I wanted to say hi. I'm with company X. Boom. Give me a call when you have a second. I'll text him too, and I will always get a call back.
But you didn't see his sign. You got his name from a registry.
It doesn't matter where I got it. I got it.
I can why not just be honest and say, why lie? Why put yourself in a position where you're lying, okay?
I'm not lying.
You didn't. Got his. Go ahead.
I'll tell him I got him off of LinkedIn. I'll tell him I got your name off LinkedIn when I was doing searches. I was referred by Greg. I was referred by Kathy.
Okay. You left. Oh, so you've told us now. You leave voicemail. What if he actually picked up the phone? What would you say to him?
Hey, Animal. Alan Fluhrer here with W. O'Neill Construction. I saw you on LinkedIn. I think we might have done. I'm not sure if we've done some work together before, and I wanted to call and ask your coaching and opinion on something.
Your coaching and opinion on something. Okay, that was bullshit about you're not sure if we did work before, right?
No. We've been around for 100 years. I don't know how. I've only been here 3.5. We might have done work 6 years ago, and I don't know it.
Okay. Okay. You know you're trying to soften them up with that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're looking for coaching, and what else?
I'd like his opinion and coaching on a search that I'm doing. Okay,
and what's he going to say? Huh? What's he going to
say? Using coaching or opinion does not demand reciprocation. A favor, a solid. I need some help. There's a reciprocation involved there. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to ask him a couple questions about his company and his projects. I'm going to let him know a little bit about us. And then I'm going to say,
hold on a second. No. So you've got a long preamble. You're not just saying, look, I'm going to ask you these questions and get off the line quickly. You like they do in the Middle East, apparently. You want to have a tea with them to start off with, right? A long get to know you. Is that what you're doing?
Darn straight. You want to know why?
Yeah.
Because in this industry, like others, it is very tiny, as big as it is, and the relationships are critical. And
very tiny, big as it is. Okay, there's a contradiction, but I'm not going to pursue it. It's very tiny, big as it is. Wait a second. What I want to get to is why would this guy waste all this time with you? I mean, you just want to get in there and get out. You don't want to bug him, and you are bugging him. You're taking a lot of time just so he can do you a favor. What's the logic?
The logic is maybe I can help him with something because near the end of the call I say, really appreciate it. By the way, what can I do for you?
What could you do for him?
In the construction business, everybody is dying for candidates. I have the LinkedIn recruiter package. I can set up a search for what he wants.
Okay.
And I'll just
let's say you say so how do you ask him about his business when you're asking these warm-up questions? What are you going to ask him?
Animal, how long have you been with Bob's Drywall? Great. What projects are you working on right now?
Been here 3 years.
What projects are you working on right now?
Okay, but XYZ.
Yeah, and oh wow, that thing's a monster. Is it still? What are you guys almost done with that one? It's beautiful when I've driven by it.
You know, all this phony
industry,
stuff out. You
proud
want something from me? That's what I'm thinking. Do I have to answer these, phony questions?
Here, I'll take it. I'll give you one that I got yesterday. Here's one you'd like. I called another project executive at a competitor on a referral. Somebody in my company knows him, and I said, "Hey, look, I have a candidate. I can't do anything with him. You guys do business in this in this geography. I was wondering if you guys are looking for anybody like this." And he said, "Yeah, we are." And he said, "By the way, Alan, can I ask you, why are you doing this? I've never gotten a call like this from a recruiter. Everybody's always trying to sell me stuff." I said, "Look, it's a small industry. I got a guy. I can't do anything with him. I like him, and he's looking for a job. He's leaving his current company, and he's looking for a job. I figure, what the heck? It costs me
MikeRecruiter.com. MikeRecruiter.com. Are you awake? Mike Recruiter? No.
Is Michael G. Cox on?
Yeah, he's here. Okay, let me bring in Kathy. Kathy, were you listening to this? You want to come in on my side?
I'm ordering my Rolling Stones tickets, so
I'm going to put you back on hold then. I'm putting you back on hold then. Okay. Okay, look, Al. Okay, it's why I wanted to bring in external verification. You'd make a great politician because I asked you that this original guy you called, wouldn't he be thinking, let's get to it, don't screw around with these phony. And so what you did, you switched to another. You're answering a different question. You're telling me how you called somebody up and gave him a referral out of the blue for a candidate. You're not answering my question, and maybe I should just move on. Okay.
Move on.
Shame on you! You can't answer a question.
I answered it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. You agreed with this statement from Katrina Kibben. She said, "It drives me nuts when people reply to an email with a phone call." And you said, "You too." Why?
Because most times when I'm doing that, it just drives me crazy because most times those emails, I just need a yes or no. If somebody picks up the phone, it depends. But I'd have to go look that one up. But look, most times it does.
Well, sometimes I forget. Just say I forget. You don't remember.
I forget.
Then, okay.
Next.
Okay. If you went, you're right now a corporate recruiter. If you went solo agency tomorrow, would you specialize in a specific field?
Yes.
What field?
Commercial construction and especially subcontractors.
You'd stay where you were. Would you have a second choice? What if you didn't go into construction? What would you do? Go ahead.
Either data analytics or I can't think of the other one right now.
Okay, but would it have to be something that you already have contacts in, or could you theoretically start from scratch in a new industry or a new professional line altogether?
Oh, I could start from scratch.
Oh, you could, eh? Okay.
Sure.
How would you in that situation? How would you get business? Don't tell. I don't want you to tell me. Oh, I know everybody in this industry.
No. I don't know everybody. Let's pick something that I don't know anything about. Healthcare. So, okay. I probably have at least one or two or some connections on LinkedIn in healthcare. I just call them up and ask to pick their brain or just ask them for their opinion and their thoughts. I would go do my research like crazy, to figure out where the niches within healthcare are, where there's a huge demand and little supply, and I would see, does it make sense? Like, I know nurses are gold, but is that something I want to be in? But I would do my research. I would call a few people and determine, is this something I can make money in?
What titles would you be calling? Just people, you might have contacts you don't really know that well. I mean, so
right.
what contacts would you be calling? What titles would you be looking for to call?
I'd probably start with managers and VPs. I might go into human resources, and if I could get them on the phone, and they're intelligent.
What would you say? You call up. I like to get right down to it when you're asking a person for a date. What are you saying to this person essentially? You're calling them up. What do you say?
Hey, Animal, I'm Alan Fluhrer, and you're the human resources manager at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center. I was referred to you guys for some business, but I'd really just like to ask you a few questions because I don't know if I can really provide services to you.
Okay, so you that's an interesting. It's a lie, but
no. Well, it actually isn't, because what I found is I'm being vulnerable and I'm being candid, and I'm not trying a slick sales call. And you'd be surprised how many times when you're vulnerable, people respond to it.
Yeah, but no one referred you to her or him to do business with them. You made that up, okay? And then you're saying,
here, I'll give you another one. Years ago, I saw on the cover of Sales and Marketing Management a guy that was like this super salesman. I wanted to get some coaching from him. I wanted to get some tips. I had to leave maybe 2 voicemails. He called me back. He said, Alan, I got 15 minutes. And then I said, well, we're at 15 minutes. You know what? I got another 20 minutes. And it was great.
Okay,
that was a complete cold call out of the blue.
Again, you're answering a different question. So you're still on the line with this HR director or manager at the hospital, okay? And so what does she say to you when you say, I don't know if I can do business with you? Did you have a question to follow up that?
Well,
I want to know.
I've been doing recruiting. I've been a recruiter for many years, and I've provided great services in software and in construction. And I was suggested that my company might be able to provide really good service in healthcare, but I don't want to waste anybody's time. And I saw you on LinkedIn. It looks like you've got an impressive background. I was hoping you might be willing to schedule a minute or two, and I could ask you a few questions and see if this might be something that I can do that's valuable and would be something that maybe you guys might be interested in.
Okay. And you think you would get somebody like that other person saying, okay, I got 15 minutes for you on Tuesday at 10 o'clock? Is that what you're looking for?
I think it might take me a couple of people, but I think I'd get to one, because I've acknowledged I think they're impressive. I've acknowledged they have an expertise.
Let's move ahead. First, I'm going to do an ad, okay? Or no, let's finish this. So when you get to Tuesday at 10 o'clock, she's got 15 minutes for you. You get on the phone. What questions are you asking? You want to think about it for a second? Should I do my ads? Should I do my ad and let you think about it, or you want to just go
ahead, do your ad.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Recruiting Animal here. For our sponsors, number one, PCRecruiter.net. It is configurable. It's recruiting software for every kind of recruiting, and it does not impose any format for work on you. You configure it to work the way you want to work. And if you don't know how to configure it, or just the idea, the word configure bothers you, call them up. They'll help you set it up. If you're a recruiter, they love you. PCRecruiter.net. Hire Tool, HIRETUAL.com. Every discussion about sourcing software on Facebook gets a lot of praise for Hire Tool. Everybody loves it. There's other good products too, but this is a leader. Check them out, HIRETUAL.com. And Honeit, HONEIT.com. It records your interviews. It lets you create special little clips that you can pass on to a hiring manager so they can hear the candidate talking about specific issues in their own voices. And it also supplies you with a searchable transcript for the whole interview. many other uses as well, but I'm going to get back to Al. Well, you've got this meeting online, a limited time informational interview with a manager at a company in an industry that you want to move into. Okay, what are you going to ask?
Animal. I did a bit of research on Cedars-Sinai, and I believe you use recruiting firms. I'm curious, what can I do, and what would make your life easier and successful if I were to provide services, or what drives you crazy from the firms that are providing you services these days?
Okay, well, first of all, what if she, not Animal, what if she says, Al, I don't know where you got that information. I haven't used an agency in 5 years. What's your next step?
The research that I pulled up, there was a number of positions in Beverly Hills at a world-renowned hospital from agencies. So my apologies. I thought it was you guys.
Oh, okay. So I'm being tough on you because I think you can come up with more inventive and better answers than I could myself. Okay. So okay, you say, I had the wrong hospital. Okay. Wouldn't you try to still say, look, I've got maybe you can still help me though in my approaches to other institutions. Would you ask her, what would you be looking for hypothetically? Is that what you would say? What would your next?
So Betty, hypothetically, well then, do you not use agencies? And no big hospital. Every big hospital uses them. We all know that.
Okay.
Well, great. Well, so what drives you crazy when you do utilize outside firms? And she probably if she says, you know what, we don't use them, great. I won't take any more of your time. One question I would have is there? And I appreciate all this. I've learned some stuff here. Would there be what other one person, maybe two at another hospital, might I be able to reach out to and do the same thing?
And you think she would give you somebody?
No, I don't know. But if I don't ask, I don't get.
Okay. No, I'm just wondering if it's a worthwhile question. But here's geez, when I slipped my mind, I had if I can't remember, but you did say you had a huge rant on Facebook about emails that you yourself get from recruiters. You say they are a total waste of time. You would never do this yourself. They're awful. So let's talk about those for a second. You say, agency recruiters, stop sending me the following emails. They start out with, hi, I hope you're doing well. You don't like that. I hope you're doing well, right?
Well, it's more everything else on it, but it's very.
Okay, no, I thought you didn't like that. Okay, and then in the email, there's a resume without the name on it, and a lot of info about the person in the email, maybe some other notes about that person, right? And sometimes they'll send you and you'll get 12 of these a week, and what you do is you steal those candidates. You figure out who they really are based on the resume information. And you just call them directly yourself. Am I right?
Yep.
Okay. And these emails, you say I don't know if this is, do most of them say that they are exclusively representing that candidate? Is that a standard line?
Here's a short one I got yesterday. I noticed you're looking for position X. We specialize in helping companies find great people in California. And it's very obviously we work with qualified candidates. We're a contingent firm, so there's no cost. Would you like to see a couple of hand-picked resumes to compare? That doesn't tell me any value. And I will take the time, Animal, to go look this company up. And this particular one doesn't even exist. The person doesn't exist on LinkedIn. I don't know what it is, but I get these all the time. And here, I'll give you a great phone call I got yesterday from a national recruiting firm. Lady calls me from San Diego. Says, hey, my name is, I noticed you guys had this posting. I was just curious. I've been around in San Diego recruiting for many years. I don't know if you utilize agencies, but I wanted to reach out because I have two specific people that this. And you can sense the person on the phone. And I said, look, here's the thing. We have a plethora of goodwill in our network. I have too many candidates for that role. And here's how we work with the couple of agencies we work at. Ask me any question you want. I'm happy to. And she asked me a number of questions. I answered them candidly on how to work with us. And then she said, you know what? I don't think we're the best. I don't think we can provide you too much. I said, look, in the bookkeeping department, maybe you can, but I'm willing to keep you. I'm willing to call you the next time we have a need in San Diego.
Mm-hmm. So this is your thing. This was your big advice for recruiters to actually call people and have a conversation with them, right? That was after you ranted about these emails that you absolutely hate. Okay,
right.
You said, recruiters, why don't you call these people up in the company, target companies, and have a conversation with them. That's your big advice, right? To agency
and what
recruiters.
I didn't put in there, is have an intelligent conversation. Don't have a scripted thing where you're talking too fast, where I can't get a word in edgewise, and I really don't care what you're saying. Do 3 minutes of research before you call me. Know anything about our company.
What is it they should research? Well, you know what? I don't care if nobody else likes this. I think that you're a guy who could do fantastic in a solo agency or maybe with another person, very small agency. I got the feeling you would do great, and I want to know how you would do it, okay? So I am going to find out. I'm going to spend the next half hour, if necessary, asking how you do this. Everybody else can hang up if they want to, okay? So let's go back to the hospital. We never finished. You're asking her some questions. One of the questions, your first question is, you're dealing with some agencies now, okay? What is it that they do wrong? What do you not like about dealing with agencies? That's your number one question. Am I right about that?
What are they doing? What drives you crazy, or who does anybody do it well that you respect? Yes.
That's your number two question. What are the ones who are doing it well? What is it you like about them? Okay. What other questions would you ask?
Do you have when I used to do it in another sector, I used to build relationships, and then there were other companies who would just call me up on an as-needed basis. How do you like to operate?
Hey, this is William Tinka. Listen, we did a series for iSolved called Heroes of HR, where we talk to HR practitioners. And these are just your run-of-the-mill, everyday, slogging it out, 300 employees in Cedar Rapids, HR pros. Mostly it's centered around iSolved and what they do with iSolved, but also they talk a lot about kind of the day-to-day rigor of HR. If you're curious about that, search for Heroes of HR wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you.
In other words, I won't call you. You'll call me. Isn't that the standard kiss off? Don't call us. We'll call you. And you're saying that's fine with you? Is that what you're saying?
What I'm looking for there is, are they the type of person that is looking more for solve the problem and build a relationship? If they just need to hire somebody at lowest cost or whatever, they're going to call it out to 7, 8, 9, 10. When I had my company and I had 8, 9, 10-year relationships with 3 or 4 companies, I went and saw them every couple of weeks. I just said hi, had coffee, saw a person that I placed, and went by and said hi to the VP on the way out. That's it. But I want to find out.
And they wanted to spend time with you. Well, not everybody's working with people in their own neighborhood that they can drop in on a regular basis. Okay, you know what, Al? We haven't even got to the point yet that you're getting any business. So you called up this director. You asked what she likes and what she doesn't like.
Okay.
And if they want to have a cozy relationship with you or just call you when they need you, and then you ask her for 2 more names, okay? And what do you do with those 2 names? The same thing? Same thing?
Same thing. Although I'm going to stop you for a second. When I answered your original question, let me give you a different way to do it. If I was going into healthcare, I would research and see who's got a whole bunch of and target and figure out what hospitals or health insurance companies locally are using agencies.
And you did that by looking on Indeed to see who the agencies that were advertising. That's what you did first.
Yeah.
You told us. Are you right? Okay.
Yeah. Indeed,
okay.
LinkedIn.
So where do we get to the point where you actually get business? Okay, you're doing these informational interviews, just like a job hunter would do. Okay. Right. Pick your brains interviews. I wonder if you're claiming that you could get a lot of conversations out of these
I don't know how many conversations I'd get, but if I'm dialing and I'm figuring out the right person and the right persona, I will get conversations. And if you're at a small agency, all you need is 3 good clients, just one good client to start out with, and then grow it from there.
Okay, and after they've given you their time and for free, and maybe referred someone to you, you would have no qualms about going back into that company and recruiting from them if they weren't your client, right? They'd become.
I would call her back, and I would say yes. I agree. Yes, you're right. I would say, Betty, I've gone out, and over the last 6 weeks, I've got some positions I'm working on for UCLA Health Systems, and they're pretty close to you. I was wondering if I really appreciated your time, and I was wondering, you did mention you use agencies. I would like to know if some of these 2 positions I'm working on would be of any interest, and if we could do some business together.
What do you mean? You're saying I'm working in this field. Maybe I'll come up with someone who's good for you.
No. I said, Betty, you were helpful to me 6 weeks ago, and I thank you for that. And due to some of the things you told me, I just got I've been working my first couple of positions, not at your company, Cedars, but at UCLA Health, and these are 2 insurance analytics people. I wanted to let you know. I wanted to thank you for your time. And realistically, Betty, if I did notice you guys I did go look at Cedar's site. I saw you're looking for a similar position. If you have enough candidates and all is well, great. If you'd like, I'd love to have the opportunity to do some business with you and show you these candidates.
Okay, hold on a second. So you're the politician again. You didn't answer my question.
What's your question?
When you got those job orders from UCLA, would you come back to Cedars-Sinai and recruit people from that company?
If Betty after that second call to Betty,
there would be no second call. There would be no second call.
Okay, well then yes, I would take them out. Then yes, I would take them out. Why not? I got to take care of my UCLA client. If I get him at Cedars, I get him at Cedars.
Okay, so her favor to you does not give her immunity from being a source for your other new clients. Am I right about that?
Why do you think I make that second call?
There is no second call. Okay?
You're saying there's no second call.
You can't afford to give her a second call and say, look, I'll take a search for you. I'll double up on this search. No, I won't just have UCLA. I'll have you as well. Is that what what you're trying to do there, right?
And so? If Betty had an okay experience with me at Cedars, and she gave me time.
Betty says, no, Alan, I don't want to work with you, but thanks for calling me back.
Then I got to find my candidates.
You'd pick up the phone and recruit her people out from under her. Am I right about that? After she did you a favor, am I right?
Yes.
Okay, well, I don't know. That's a problem with asking for favors because not everybody is as tough as you. They would feel they owed something to Betty, and that what they'd owe is don't call her people because she spent time with you for nothing, okay? And I want to do a short ad. PCRecruiter.net, everybody. It's recruiting software that's very configurable. It's configurable. They don't impose anything on you. You impose it on them. Honeit, HONEIT.com. The online interview recording technology, it tapes your interviews or records them. It creates little clips that you can pass on to anybody on the hiring team. And it supplies you with a searchable transcript as well. And finally, HireTool, HireTual.com. I dare you to find a discussion of sourcing software on Facebook or anywhere else recruiters talk that doesn't rave about HireTool. Okay, back to Alan. Okay, so how would you get a search in the end? By calling for these informational interviews, one of those people is going to say, Alan, I'll work with you. Is that essentially how you're going to get your first search?
That's how it happens sometimes.
Okay. What would your guarantee be?
One of the ways it happens,
you're in business. Sorry, you go ahead. Go finish.
And one of the ways it happens is you do your calls intelligently. You figure out what is the pain point of that person, and that client, that person is the most important person to you in the world for that call.
Period.
Okay,
Done.
and here's where you differ. Hold on. And your main point so far is do it on the phone. Don't send emails to people you don't know. Is that an absolute rule?
Well, I don't say it's not an absolute, Animal, but if you've left some voicemails or you've tried to reach them, then you've got a reason to send the email.
How many voicemails would you send? How many voicemails would you give Betty before you send an email?
It depends I mean, if it looks like a big whale of a client, 3 to 6. But after that,
6.
I know she's not going to do
over,
it. So now
over how long a period of time? 6 calls, and would it be 6 of it in 1 week or 2 weeks or in a month?
Within 2 weeks.
Okay. And then you would give her a break for how long?
What do you mean a break? Oh, not call her again? Probably
you
another
said
week.
6 calls.
2 weeks on. 2 weeks on, a week or 2 off.
Okay. And when you finally got her on the phone, so she stopped. I'm calling so you stop bugging me. Is that a good attitude to start a conversation with?
Betty, I completely understand. I'm kind of driven, and I've heard that it takes up to the 8th phone call before most people can have a really good conversation. So I guess I guess you're unique because I'm lucky enough to get you on the 6th call.
Okay, well, you're smooth. See, that's why I'm asking you these questions. I'll bet there's people saying, this animal's so boring, I'm hanging up. But I think you've got something other people don't. What would your guarantee be for your new business? What would your guarantee?
60 days.
60 days for what, a replacement or money back?
Replacement.
No money back.
No. I mean, if I have to, I will. I've learned over time, don't cash the check until the guarantee period's up, or cash it and keep it in an account. But yeah,
60 days. That's not very long, is it?
But here's the thing about that, and I hear what you're saying. But here's the problem that a lot of people run into is, and these debates have been on Facebook and others, is if you're going to go for 90 or 6 months or a year, why? A good company is going to know this is a candidate we want to keep, and they're going to know it quickly. And 30 days might be a little short, but 60 days or 90, whatever. I think 90 is about the standard.
Well, here's why. You know what? This English guy, Gareth Calloway, just told me yesterday, I think, on Facebook. He said that, recruiters have to take responsibility for retention, and that's why they offer long guarantees. That's why they have long guarantees, not short ones.
I call BS on Gareth.
Go ahead. Why?
Look, I think the problem is this: is we can be responsible for bringing the best possible candidate to the table, but how are we responsible for retention? Once we hire Kathy, am I responsible to hey, Kathy, has your boss talked to you recently? Has so-and-so talked to you? Have you had your 90-day review? Have you done that? That's not my responsibility. Am I supposed to? It's the company's responsibility. It's management's responsibility. Now, maybe it's different in the UK. I don't know.
Okay, but you're supposed to be able to find out enough about the company and the candidate to make a match that's going to work like heaven, okay? A match made in heaven.
And even the best ones don't, for various reasons. Here, I'm going to give you a great quote from a senior level 30-year guy that is highly respected in the architecture world when we talked about this. He said, Alan, once you came aboard, I went back and checked my notes for names of people you've been asking me for, but I found a note that I thought was interesting. A lot of my best interviews were my worst hires, and a lot of my worst interviews were my best hires. And I said, and then I dug into the why. And then he gave me one little thing where he said, you know what I figured out is if I ask about this one little topic, this one little subject, if they know anything about it, I know it took them a lot of hard work to learn it, and they probably failed a lot. But that told me more than any other interview question or process. And I thought that was fascinating. So we are not responsible for retention. Our goal is to hire the best person possible for the role, technically, soft skills, fit, and growth ability.
Yeah, okay. Well, you know what? The argument I think Gareth would put forward and any reasonable person would be, if you were hiring someone like that who had the technical skills and fit, whatever that means, then the the prognosis would be that they were going to stay for a while, not for a very short time. Okay, so you're implicitly saying that yes, you have some responsibility.
No,
going to move on. What would your candidate? Too bad Jerry's not here. This is his question. What would your candidate ownership rules be in your fee agreement? How long would you send somebody up for an interview?
6 months. 6 months to 12 months, whatever.
I know
Jerry's opinion. Jerry doesn't think there should be any ownership, and it depends on the relationship.
What would yours be? Jerry would say, let's not talk for him. Okay, I want to know what yours would be. If you sent me a resume for Michael G. Cox tomorrow, okay, and another recruiting agency sent his resume for a different position 3 months from now, who would get the fee?
I'd put 6 months, and my guarantee would be a negotiable point in the agreement signing.
What do you mean?
If I could get
your fee would be not your guarantee. Your fee, you mean, in that case, would be negotiable.
What's my money back guarantee? Oh no, no. If I send you a resume, how long do I own it? That's what you're asking.
Yeah.
As long a time frame as I can get. And I'm willing to negotiate it.
Okay. What if they say 3 months?
If I think it's worth doing, I'll do 3 months. If I think it's a good relationship,
every single job you'll negotiate how long. So if they're just
if I can get a year, I'll get a year. If I can get 6 months,
taking the resumes, I'm putting them in their ATS. 6 months later, they're hiring those people without a fee. So be it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, they're not hiring without a fee. If I have a 6 month agreement of candidate ownership and they hire somebody.
You just said you'd agree to 3 months. You just said you'd agree to 3 months.
I'm sorry,
if you
I didn't
had
hear your comment. So you're saying that I have a 3 month guarantee with your company and you hire somebody in month 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, then I lose out.
Too bad. Okay. Hey, going to do a quickie. HONEIT, the online interview recording technology. Check it out, okay? HireTool, HireTual.com, super duper sourcing tool, okay? And PCRecruiter.net. It's the configurable Swiss Army knife of recruiting software. I think they're getting more from me by having them mention very briefly a few times rather than one long ad. Okay. Geez, I knew what else I wanted to talk to you about after, and I can't remember. What do you think? What do you think? WokeRecruiting.com. WokeRecruiting.com. That is a domain name that's available right now. Okay. Do you think it's good?
No, I think it's a little too trendy.
Okay.
Now it might be good for right now, but then what's it going to be like?
It's only $25. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So you brag.
I have one for
you. Yeah.
So I found this to be a very interesting candidate strategy for an individual candidate. Apparently, this lady put an ad out and created a little.
No, sorry. I remember my question. It's more important.
Go ahead.
Okay. You spoke recently at Disrupt AR on doing recruiting on a shoestring. Am I right? Yes or no?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so if you go tomorrow out as a solo agency, that's going to be relevant for you. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay, so we've only got 10 minutes left or so, 15 minutes. Want to just give us the main points that you talked about? Is that what that sounds like? If you're speaking to a group about it, it's one of your areas of expertise. Am I right?
Okay. Yep.
Am I right? Yes.
You're right.
Yes, you are. You spoke at Disrupt HR. You must know something. Tell us what you know.
Well, for that particular one, that was so.
It wasn't very long ago.
You're talking about a shoestring. I would look at free link. Are you talking about you want the tools I'd use or how I'd go about it?
Well, what do you mean? I don't understand. Yeah.
Okay, so you're saying you want me to respond to your question, recruiting on a shoestring?
Yeah. What did you tell those people how to recruit on a shoestring?
I told them that they should utilize LinkedIn for free, utilize LinkedIn with custom search engines, use Google Alerts, use Meetup and Indeed. There's ways to do that for free that you can do a lot. Other places to find people are associations. I'm looking at the presentation now. So you'd want to contact. So once you find some of the people that you want, you contact them directly. You also learn how to source and recruit and have the conversation with a potential candidate, and then also build some relationships within your specialty niche, which is why you specialize.
Okay, let me go back. So you're giving us a laundry list. Why free LinkedIn instead of $60 a month or whatever the.
Okay, if you're talking about like $60 a month, that's fine. I did an ultimate shoestring.
Okay, but you also claim to be an expert on LinkedIn Recruiter, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so do you think you would do okay, or would you really suffer for losing that? Would you be doing okay?
I could manage with it. I'd figure out how to manage without it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I've done it before.
And you brag also about your LinkedIn profile. You warn
my LinkedIn
people
profile
right from.
Sucks.
No, you say it might look a bit odd, but it's killer. That's what you say. It kills. And you meant it's a good thing.
Oh, my headline. One of the headlines. I borrowed that from a digital marketing guy years ago, and I liked it because it made it. You know what? I got to go back and switch that.
Okay, so I'm asking you about something that you don't really think is good. You're bragging, but you want to take that brag back, right?
I'll take the brag back.
Okay, so you don't you meant
let me go look at my profile. Let me go look at my profile.
How come I have to go to these people's profiles? It's true, audience, if you're listening.
My profile's not bad.
Well, yeah, okay. Well, you Kathy, are you still with us? Do you want to say anything?
I'm still here. No, I have.
You want to criticize? You want to criticize anything he said? He said quite a bit. Do you want to criticize him?
He did. Well, first of all, most hospitals don't use agencies unless they are looking for hourly workers, like in the cafeteria or something. They normally utilize huge companies.
Big staffing firms.
I worked in healthcare. I'm sorry, I worked in healthcare for 6 years. There was something that he said. Shoot, I forgot.
Think about it while I move on to Michael G. Cox. Michael G. Cox, MikeRecruiter.com. I see area code 210 there. So wake up, get yourself off of your mute. He's been talking for a half an hour about starting up, and now he's talking about on a shoestring. Okay, you started up within the last 6 months. I don't even think it's been. I think it's been since November. Okay, is he right? Does he have a point? Yeah, I'd like to hear some feedback. Okay, wake up. Okay, Kathy, back to you. Do you have anything you want to finish up with?
Are you questioning whether you can start up your own company on a dime? Is that what you're talking about?
Well, I didn't say a dime, but how to on a budget? Yeah, on a tight budget.
I did that. I did that by myself for about 3 years, and I ended up through networking getting Buffalo Wild Wings before they were franchised out. And I was the only outside recruiter they used in the U.S., and I started to help recruit buyers for their franchises. So now they're all over the place.
And how did you get them? You said through a network. What does that mean?
Yes. There was another solo recruiter that I knew that didn't get along well with them. She used to work with them but didn't get along well with them. And so I directly called them up, and I said, you have nothing to lose. I'll send you some resumes. In those days, this was back, in the late 90s, I would send blank resumes, nameless resumes and things like that. And once I got a couple of placements, I was the only one they used.
Okay.
So it was fun. It was a solo account, but then again, it wasn't guaranteed income every 2 weeks. So it was hard.
Okay, well, let's move 20 years forward and ask Alan, what would you pay for? What tools would you pay for? Would you still? I noticed you advertise in Indeed right now. Would you continue to advertise in Indeed?
I don't advertise. I let them scrape it.
This is William Tincup, and I'd like to direct you to a wonderful limited series podcast that Ryan and I recorded live at the ERE Recruiting Innovation Summit. We sat down with 20 recruiting and TA leaders from around the world to hear what today's best recruiters are doing to stay sharp, stay relevant, and stay ahead. It's called The Talent Shift. You'll love it. You'll find the podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Listen, like, review, share. Do you?
Oh, okay. So, but you do advertise. You advertise. You don't do all direct recruiting. You advertise as well. Would you have an advertising budget?
No, what we do is because we have the LinkedIn Recruiter account, we also
Okay, yeah, Al. Don't you see? I'm switching. I'm imagining Alan being on his own because I think.
Okay, then what I would. Okay, well, initially I would have to advertise. What would I do? I'd have to think about that. Advertising, I'd get into some LinkedIn groups. I'd be paying attention to Twitter and Facebook and see if I can find out anybody that's complaining or asking questions about something, or my services could be of value. I'd also start participating in appropriate, and maybe Kathy's right. Maybe healthcare's not, but I'm going to stay on healthcare here.
Healthcare is a huge field. She just said the hospitals are not.
Okay,
are not
so let's say health insurance companies. Maybe in the insurance company.
No. Let me move on. Let's. What about Joe Mullings? You know, his technique is to post a lot on LinkedIn. Would you start? I noticed you wrote one article some time ago. Would you start writing a lot of articles or putting a lot of postings on LinkedIn?
Yeah, I'd probably have to do that.
Okay, you would. So you would have a social media strategy as well. Okay.
Yeah, I think you have to these days as an external. Let me put it this way: do you have to
We'll move into the corporate field. We'll move into the corporate field. Okay, for the last questions, since that's what you're doing now. Now you say. You say that companies, some of them have interview, and you've had the experience of sending people to a hiring manager in a company you've even perhaps worked for yourself, and the hiring manager is such a negative personality that all they focus on what could be a bad fit between the candidate and the company. And so that turns, the candidates come out and they say, well, what is this? Are you interested in me or you're trying to send me away? Okay? And so the recruiter is actually getting calls from the candidate saying, I had a bad experience. I've never had an interview as bad as this one. Okay? Does that happen? Number one.
Yes, it happens. Not
a lot,
What should a corporate
recruiter do if they're getting the feedback? And well, first of all, do they have to wait to hear bad things, or can they do interview prep with the hiring manager they're working for, so the hiring manager doesn't pull the rug out from under them after they've done the hard work of getting people interested?
So you're saying prep the manager or prep the candidate, Animal?
Well, let's talk about both. But I'm saying, do you make a point of prepping the manager to know that this person is not going to throw a monkey wrench in your efforts?
Yes, and
Kathy,
unfortunately,
you're going on. Kathy, the spies are on your line again. I have to put you on hold. Okay.
All right.
Go ahead.
Yes, it happens.
Alan.
Yes, I try to prep every manager. Well, they get my notes from my interview with the candidate, but I do try and prep them, and that also, you're talking about two different things. So on the manager side, yes, you also need to make sure that managers
hold on a second. Alan, listen to me, please. Okay, yes. You're sending your notes. You're a normal person. You're a good interviewer. Okay, you don't know how this person's going to use your notes. Do you ever go to that guy or woman and say,
yes,
look, Betty, okay, this is a great candidate, and I want to make sure you don't screw this up. So I'm going to tell you what kind of attitude you're going to have. Or if you want to be nice, say, look, I just want to chat before I send this person in. Can you give me an idea of how you're going to approach this interview? Okay, do you ever do that?
Yes.
How often? On with every new manager that you're dealing with, you do it to start off with? Is that how you start off your relationship?
I tried to say, hey, can either one?
I tried to is a no. That's no.
Yes,
I don't do it that often.
Stop. Yes, I do. I speak with every manager, and number two, if I'm local, I'll ask if they have an objection to me sitting in there, not saying a thing, fly on the wall. I'd like to learn from your interview style.
And well, if the person was doing like bad stuff, saying, look, there's a lot of traveling in this. You don't strike me as a traveling kind of person. Would you stop the interview and say, let's put the question this way. Would you interrupt a goof?
I try to balance. Yes, I would if I see it going way off base, or if I think they've asked a question that is just off base now.
Final question. Okay, I really enjoyed it so far. I got a feeling nobody else likes my approach. Okay, what if, again, sorry to do this to you, but what if you're on your own? You're a solo, okay? You've got a new client. You're working really hard because you said you're going to be looking for the hard-to-fill jobs. Okay, that's not fun. Okay?
No. I'm going to be looking for low supply, high demand of candidates.
Okay, well, I assume that those are going to be hard to fill. Okay. So you've got some good candidates. Are you going to try to qualify the interviewer before you send them out, so that you're not casting the seeds on stony soil, or whatever the good story is? So you're going to say, listen, Betty, just before I send this out, can we have a discussion? I've never worked with you on any other searches before. I want to know how you manage an interview. Can you see you got my notes in front of you? Can you tell me what questions you're going to ask, or do you do anything? Should a solo recruiter be doing that, qualifying the interviewer?
I think they should, and what I would do is go, Betty, this is our first time you're going to be interviewing Jimmy, and I would just, you've got my notes, but can you tell me how you interview and what I can share with Jimmy so that the two of you can have the most productive meeting possible?
Okay. So before we go, I want to mention HireTool.com, super-duper sourcing tool, PCRecruiter.net, the Swiss Army knife of recruiting software, Honeit, Honeit, the online interview recording technology. And Al, for me, this has been a really fun conversation. I hope somebody else listening, and the people who listen in Saudi Arabia and Japan, I hope they get something out of it too, okay? Anything else you want to say? Final words?
No, we're good. I appreciate it, Animal.
Kathy, Michael G. Cox, I'm not going to thank you. Jerry, I'm not going to thank you. But everybody else, thank you!